And we're back for one final match of the day here in the Overwatch Beat Invitational before we head to our final day tomorrow in the last two matches. It's going to be Phase 2, captained by Coach Michael, who's not a player, simply a coach, taking on Second Wind. And if it sounds like we're going a little bit loopy, well, it has been a long casting day. Actually, more so for Kyrix than even for me. But guys, wouldn't have it any other way. Long weekend online Overwatch. Talk about a good old return to form. It's great. It's fun. And now we're heading to the first map. It's going to be Hollywood as Phase 2 takes on Second Wind.
And this is going to be an excellent matchup to start our day, or end our day, rather. Oh, man, we're talking about actually delirious at this point.
No. It's starting the day. We have another 8 hours of casting to go. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
At this point, I think I might actually hit my Second Wind as well and just hit that that little jolt of energy that I might need to just carry me through the rest of this matchup. It has been a long day.
To Casper Curse Ezire for real this time? Is that where you're going to go?
No. But it has been a good day, though, ZP. It has been very exciting. Yeah. It's been easy to, stay awake and stay energetic in some of these situations because the games have been solid. The games, especially the one that we just came out of, have been incredibly high-level Overwatch. It's been awesome to be able to spectate and be able to commentate with you. So definitely enjoying it and really excited for this last match that we're going to end the night with. Got it right this time. But again, Phase 2 versus Second Wind. Second Wind with a couple of hiccups. Phase 2, however, really surging, I think, in the lower side of the bracket where, you often look for teams to have that kind of capacity to be able to come back and turn things around. I think Phase 2 is probably the in my eyes, the better the two teams coming into this, but that could quickly change depending on how Second Wind performs.
I definitely would not disagree, especially consider that it feels like this has been the tournament of crazy plays from your supports. And we talked a lot, of course, about players like Dogman and Dino. Of course, Dino, pronounced Dino, for the record. Moore has also been very good as well. So you almost need to have that great presence and support to do well. And certainly these three teams have had it.
And we're already diving in. Start things off onto Hollywood, and I believe we're getting some changes here from Second Wind who don't want to start with this composition, and Ezire is going to make that adjustment over to the Brig, so they're going to make a quick adaptation for Phase 2 to now have to deal with.
Well, it's a quick swap up to the Brigida here, already a Discord Orb on Akawa, where he has to be careful how Agro is. He's taking a lot of poke damage, immediately goes down. I don't know what he was doing. You gotta wait to get healed up, or at least the Discord Orb to go away, and Second Wind in very hot retreat there. That was just not great tank judgment coming out there from Akawa.
Have to play into the stuns, get a lot of burst pressure. It's going to be hard for them to heal that back up because they're utilizing the Lucio and the Zenyatta. So stay safe, play off your stuns, work the CC. You can control these engagements from there.
Phase 2 now getting back up a little bit. Akawa with a much better engage here this time. Discord Orb was on him, but he's taken out. Sinker, Deadeye, so many skulls, but the shields get in the way just in the nick of time. Flashbang over the top, not going to do anything. And this is a much better aggression coming in from Second Wind. They just bully the point, they grab it, and it's going to be Second Wind getting point A here versus Phase 2.
Yeah, so first Wind was knocked out of him. Second Wind, pretty solid. Definitely looked a lot better that time around, but we're going to be going forward, still holding on to this Zen Goats composition. It's going to be matched, of course, by Phase 2 as Sinker makes that adjustment. And he's, of course, going to be on the Zarya. Saucy, obviously way ahead of them because he's been on this for a while, and playing this ground war is really going to be a tremendous benefit for Saucy to have had this progress already.
Duplicate going in real deep. Transcendence going to be out for more early, but answered by Haku. But it's even going to be a rally on the side of Second Wind. Second Wind, much better setup here in terms of durability, moving in, and here comes self-destruct. The cherry on top, perhaps. No, doesn't connect, but Duplicate is out of it. And the interesting thing here is Phase 2, they've bought some time, but now they're down 2, and Sinker's just going in to get ult.
Oh, Graviton ready from Sinker. Do they want to turn this around? I think they just want to die on the point and just contest this for as long as possible here. Just drawing out more time before they come back in for a second go of it. And Phase 2 will be able to start this off with the combination between Sinker and Kevin. Definitely look for those two to connect, as Haku not going to be able to survive that himself without that Transcendence available.
Yeah, towards the end of the fight there, Sinker just wanted to make sure he had the grab. You can see him getting tempted a little bit, going, he's like, oh, do I want to go at this? Like, no, my entire team is dead. That would be a bad idea. No Fiorino. But now, it's a good time to grab. Good drop on the payload. Lots of people up there. Here comes a big bomb over the top. Kevin says, let's blow it all up. And doesn't get anything. A little bit of a dud there because of the sound barrier from Karkar. Able to stop it right away. It was excellent reaction from him as Second Wind continues to dominate on the point.
Is Haku top damage in this matchup right now? Because this man is popping on the Zenyatta, coming through big for them as they just surge forward. Second Wind. I talked before about how I thought Phase 2 was going to be the favorite, but Second Wind looks phenomenal so far in their attack.
They have a little under 5 minutes left remaining. That is fast for Hollywood, and they're not about to stop. Both Brigida's going to rally. Both rally to me, as it turns out. Transcend's out first here from the defense, but Haku gets a really good opportunity to transcend on his own here. Might not even have to. Graviton out. Barrier going to be used as Second Wind loses 2 early on, so maybe they should use a Transcendence, but I understand wanting to save it.
Duplicate. I'm looking to see if he's going to have that same amount of resources allocated to him in terms of trying to shut down Akawa. This matchup, I mean, this is something that Phase 2 can dominate, and they're going to need to if they want to win this map.
Right now, you got to look towards Wub and Duplicate. Oh, Duplicate almost down. Can't get the Earth Shatter off. Wub didn't even have a chance to set him up. Highly aggressive stuff coming out here from Second Wind. Bring Reinhardt. Both down. The front line is Second Wind's for the taking, and Sinker just kind of has to sit and hold the grab. Not a good time to use it. The fight goes to Second Wind.
And they're stacking up on their control too, because Duplicate is still holding on to this Earth Shatter, and this is going to buy time for Saucy, who is going to be able to be high on energy once he absorbs some of this damage that's going to come through. It's very easy to generate this in this kind of matchup. He's going to be very quick to generate a grab for himself. They're going to be able to catch up rather quickly.
Wub was looking for the bash, but the self-destruct gets more. It completely disrupts the plan. Sinker goes for the last-minute grab, but not really gonna have to follow through there. It was desperation, more so the delay. The offense from Second Wind starting to take some real pressure here, moving forward. Duplicate down. Duplicate just can't drop the hammer. Has had the opportunity. Akawa making space. Offensive grab. Nice charge from Akawa. And now it's a last-moment break. Tries to delay, can't even do that. Time on the way out. Duplicate, can you drop the hammer? Nope, not even then. And I got news for you. Don't get to save it to the next round. Lightning fast stuff from Second Wind.
Absolutely. Historically, I mean, we're used to seeing Duplicate receive resources and do a lot with it. He's been really at the forefront of this team, doing a lot with everything that they give him, and it's the connection between Wub, Sinker, and Duplicate that I've been talking about, and that's why I thought, you know, Phase 2 really does look a little bit better, at least, than Second Wind coming into this matchup. However, things are completely flipped on their head. Ezire and Saucy and Akawa actually this time around are connecting in a lot better fashion than what we were seeing from Wub, Sinker, and Duplicate respectively. And I honestly think that, you know, hats off especially to Saucy for doing so well, where Sinker was basically shut down and Ezire was a big part of that with providing the stuns on the Brigida.
Really good stuff coming out from the Second Wind squad, and now we're gonna get to see them on the defense, and this is a defense that should ring true if you've been on us for our wild and crazy journey here, spanning well over 6 hours at this point. You can see Ezire on the Doomfist with Saucy on the Sombra, and if you like the voice line and they say, you're gonna be hearing it a lot. If you don't like it, I got bad news for you. You're gonna be hearing it a lot. Ezire hits that button as often as possible.
And they say. Ezire back on the Doomfist. I mean, this is where we saw him make a very strong turnaround. I mean, this is the exact section of the exact map that we saw Ezire really standing out on the Doomfist, clutching things out on first point specifically, and hope to see if he can continue that here. Obviously, their attack went very well. Second Wind in a really good position now to display some confidence in their defense. Ezire in the driver's seat here, definitely looking to have that same impact that we saw earlier.
Nice early hack on the Wub, and that's just going to cause a retreat. Oh, Ezire still found more. Now, can you get away? Can you get away with your life? This is always the risky part. Nope, no, we can't. So that actually is something that the offense can be pretty okay with. They're going to get the reinforcement back a little bit earlier, and now they're going to take advantage. You don't have to worry about the Doom jumping on over.
Well, not for, about 5-6 more seconds before Ezire is able to come right on back, and they don't even know which direction he's going to come in from. At least before they knew where he was going and where he was coming from, now they have no idea.
Well, he's coming in from the cafe, got his latte, recharging caffeine. Was going for the diva there, doesn't quite get the D-Mech, but gonna slam Duplicate against the wall, and whatever opportunity that the offense had there, it's gone, and the defense of Second Wind is looking fearsome.
And they say he's coming through, and Molten Strike or Molten Strike. Oh, we're getting down the wire here for me.
If you could stop being at least 90% delirious, turn it down to a good solid 50, that'd be fine. But Ezire was looking for a big dive in, kind of misjudged a little bit, but Sinker's down. Karkar was able to get him with the poke damage on the other side. Ezire now gonna take the stairs, not glamorous, but it's fine every now and then. Gotta get a little bit of a leg day in, more down, and Second Wind just picking them apart.
Oh, coming in, Ezire going on the aggressive, able to shut down Wub as he's going to go forward again, even further. That reset for himself, and didn't necessarily need to do that, but he did it anyways.
I feel like that was a coffee commercial there. When you really want coffee, just jump on in, because there wasn't much other point to that Meteor Strike.
He was going for the Soylent in that cafe. It's now carried by this cafe for sure.
Totally makes sense. Oh, Fried got the early pick. Ezire just got a slam dunk in. Oh, okay. Going deeper. A little bit of risk, but not going to result in any ill effect. Second Wind, minute 44 away from a first point hold yet again here in Hollywood.
Now we'll see pulling back. Second Wind in the lead at the moment. Obviously here, a Sinker coming through with this McCree. Is he going to look like asking, or is he going to fall a little short? They're going to take the high ground. Still have to deal with Ezire. Need to shut him down with these CCs.
And they say that Ezire is going to go off to the right now. Going to bide his time, wait for the fight to develop. And they say, move in. Ooh, going to trade out the Reinhardt charge versus Fist. Has to back out. Sinker going to get paid dirt with the Deadeye. One support down for each side, 5 on 5. And you look towards the rest of the fight, though. Kevin has self-destruct, could blow things wide open. Though, Sinker gets a Kawa. The offense coming in from phase 2. Finally, gonna find a way through. It's been a long slog here, but this is likely gonna be it.
Sinker comes through for phase 2. And yeah, it is a long slog, and it's going to set themselves up for something that's going to be even tougher, which is getting through the second and third phase of the map. Look at that time bank. They had to stare at that throughout their entire attack, and you have to know that, I'm not the only one feeling the fatigue at this point. These guys have been playing all day long, and that's going to be more draining, more demanding than what I'm doing here, which is just talking.
Which is just speaking about the great abilities like And They Say and Molten Strike. But we got Ezire ready on the top. And as I watch Ezire, I continue to hear the same voice repeatedly. He's a dive on in. Transcendence, though, means time for a quick retreat. Doesn't really want to be a part of that anymore. Sinker once more at the Deadeye. Not going to see anything here. And for Second Wind, this is kind of a win. Transcendence was used. They don't lose anyone. Got to feel good about it.
And not only that, but they're going to be able to reconnect as well, with Ezire having that opportunity to pull out the Meteor Strike coming down and landing right on top of them off the high ground. Here it is.
Moves on in, has Meteor Strike, gets up with 64 HP alive. Where's he gonna go? All the way back. Meteor retreat. Not quite as tactful, but still works. But this has been very good presence. They've burned more time off the clock.
High ground control.
Need to have a quicker time. Nice opening from Ezire. Hits just about everyone. Slams the Diva, gets the D-Mech. And Karkar there for the follow through. Good stuff from Second Wind. Minute 45 left to go.
Really good stuff, controlling this high ground. I wouldn't be surprised to see phase 2 try to make some changes, some adjustments to try to deal with the fact that they just don't have the opportunity to play into the verticality of this map. And it doesn't look like they're actually going to do that. So they're going to continue to take this pressure from above, where they have no option to deal with it. They're going to let Ezire keep jumping in and slamming down on them.
Yeah, I mean, Ezire might be Batman right now. Just keeps coming in from the high ground, diving on in. And yeah, it's Second Wind, just continually being dominant with these Doomfist engages. And there's been no good answer from phase 2. And they've been running the McCree the entire time.
They're trying to find a way to allow for Sinker to get the CC off, but Akawa has been so good with the barriers as well to deny that and keep Ezire protected.
Well, second win. Ezire gonna be ready for yet another dive in. This time, just gonna go for the Winston. Doesn't get quite as much. Fried down early. This might be the time where second win doesn't get everything they want and more, but the fight is still young. Ezire going back in, uppercut, holding on to the meteor strike, gonna have to use it. Sinker not dead yet, diving back in. Nowhere to go. Sinker's still up, actually, as Ezire gonna have to back on out. Gets out of the fight, but again, this is good delay.
Fantastic delay. Now they're going to be able to reset, get that full regroup, and once again come down from the top ropes. And I believe, honestly, that this is a good position for them to be in, given the fact that Moore doesn't have Transcendence. They have nothing to defend against.
Ezire going in for Sinker. McCree versus Doomfist. Sinker able to deal with the Doomfist finally. Phase 2. One last chance. Deadeye to the back, looking for happy little skulls. Gonna get a whole lot of frowny faces instead here so far. Gets nothing. Nano boost onto Akawa. Opportunity here for second wind to take Hollywood. Said on good note. They drop the EMP. Saucy right on in. Can't fish the Zen. No fall through at all. And instead, phase 2 able to stay alive. Coach Michael doing it again.
Sinker coming through on the McCree a little bit there as well. And I would imagine that they're going to swap things up here. It looks like that's going to be the case. The Sinker is pulling back. They're going to go straight for the Zarya, and we're going to see that same swap being made by Saucy as well. This is a good swap for sure. I mean, especially for Sinker, who was just going to be hitting shields for the entirety, the remainder of this map. If he had stayed onto that selection, there's no high ground control that they could have gotten there for him.
We've gotten it down and dirty. Ooh, Ezire immediately getting bopped as the Brig. Not quite as successful as Doomfist run here so far, but that's why Haku has a Transcendence. Both ends gonna pray together here. No one gonna fall here just yet. Barrier, though, also invested by phase 2, so a little bit more of a resource set up here. Earthshatter in from Akawa on the follow through is there. Second win, gonna buy even more time, and you look to phase 2. Heroics are down to their final attempt. 35 seconds left remaining, but hey, they're still in this. They end up getting 2. They're not out of the fight here just yet. They're making it more of a brawl. Sinker, Graviton set up. Do you use it now? Do you wait? He's waited.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely waited at this point. Sinker looking for an opportunity here to drop the grab, as he's just basically biding his time. They know that they need it for the last fight, and it's going to take some time to get to that stage here as we enter overtime pretty shortly. And if they're going to take it, they're going to do it in OT.
And the problem there is that they're just fighting for the draw, and it's not a great situation, but never give up, never surrender, fight for the draw, make it a big one. They're going to move in. They get a call down immediately. Phase 2, going to be going for those long odds. They can't win the map at this point, but they can certainly make it that draw. Grav, though, coming in from the defense. Big bomb over the top. Fried looking to put an end to it. Gets 2 off the self-destruct. The defense smothering phase 2. And it does look like it's going to be second win, taking map 1 away from Michael's phase 2.
Honestly, really good stuff from second win. And this is a quick turnaround from what we saw. They look a lot more in control, not just in terms of, how they're positioning, but also with their ability usage and their cooldowns, everything that's coming through with, the ult economy as well. Everything that's clicking, or everything that could possibly click, is certainly clicking for second wind right now. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing more of that in following maps as we're waiting for phase 2 to pick that second map that we will follow up with. Remember, this is a best of 5, so first of 3 here. So it's not map, or rather series point just yet. And I'm certainly, here's the thing, ZP. I want to see more from phase 2 in regards to Wub, Sinker, and Duplicate. We talked before about that. I've made mention of it more than a few times now about the synergy that we saw earlier today in their matchup. But I'm just not seeing it as much. It feels like second win is taking it to them a lot of times. And Haku is a big reason as to why that is, because, the setup that we're getting initially from Ezire on the Brigida was allowing big holes for Haku to exploit on the Zenyatta and put the pressure down on the Duplicate, so he couldn't have the same impact that we saw him throughout the entirety of the weekend.
Well, not only that, but it does feel like we've hit two extremes here, right? Where I would say on a mechanical level, you look to phase two, this has not been the best game we've seen from players like Duplicate, Sinker, or Wub here so far. Meanwhile, Second Wind almost appears to be peaking, right? Where Ezire was not having anywhere near as clean of games in day one of play. Today, though, been playing quite well. And Hollywood that we just had was probably the top off to it, where his Doomfist was simply in control. And sure, part of that is the fault of the opposition, where you can't give a Doomfist good engages like that repeatedly, and Sinker probably should have been able to neutralize him more than he did, but it still required Ezire to find good openings to maximize the chances of your opponents making mistakes. So I do feel like if you're the kind of look at the highs and lows, Second Wind, they're riding a high, and phase two, definitely at a bit of a low.
Second Wind peaking at a moment like this is a good this is a good moment to peak if you're going to, because now you have the opportunity to end on a high if you wind up winning this, going into tomorrow, really feeling good about your shot at getting further into the tournament, making it to the grand finals. And it's going to be a tough ride for whoever makes it, because winner of this has to take on Toronto Esports, who has been dominant throughout the tournament, outside of that one matchup we saw with last night's Leftovers, where it went very much back and forth.
And not only that, but of course you get through Toronto, and guess what? You have to go to L&L. So it's definitely not an easy path for either of these teams, regardless of how the series goes. But phase two, this is their map choice. Lijiang is where the turnabout must happen.
All right, well, we're going to get a Moira right into the Ana from Haku. So this is a matchup that I wouldn't want to be in if I was phase two. However, we'll have to see what kind of sustain they can get versus Ezire, bringing out the Doomfist once again.
Able to neutralize Reinhardt charge early on, lands another rocket punch, plenty of ability damage coming in here. And with Brigitte down, again, it's the heart of this tanky setup. Ezire might be down, but this still could be an edge here, the Second Win, but they lose the Diva mech, and that's gonna flip the stakes. Even though Saucy, pretty charged up here, 100% energy, still getting forced back as phase two is able to get the better of this fight.
We're gonna see them pulling away with the lead, coming away with this one, as well as we're not only looking at that, but I mean, they're going for sustain, right? So what you really need to have happen is for a lot of value to come through the Biotic Grenade, which is going to be always a thing that you're looking for with the Ana being picked out. But you need to find value, of course, with Ezire on the Doomfist. There's a reason they slotted this as opposed to something like a Brigitte. You need to be able to find these instant picks, looking for someone like Insomniac in the backline, or possibly even Wub.
Ooh, old school setup. Grab. It's a cool. I haven't seen this in a while, but still gonna work out. Two pickoffs in phase two. Akawa might have been nano boosted, but you're just down so many players. That's gonna be hard to make it. Okay, they invest more. They actually see Second Wind use the barrier here. They want more from this despite losing too early, and I don't know if that's the right decision. They're certainly gonna go for it, but all the while, phase two, firm control, Duplicate gonna move forward, and look to the Wub Duplicate connection here. Wub moving forward, Earth Shatter coming in, and there it is, 3 knocked down. That's the full cleanup that phase two wanted.
Yeah, and Ezire just not finding the same value. He was able to work his way in there and sneak out a kill against Moore, but he's going to go ahead and take a plunge from Insomniac. So not really coming away with much other than some ult charge that he was able to garner from getting that kill. Now looking at the next fight, though, Second Wind looking to try to connect with Saucy and Fried, as they're going to try to pull those two together. They really need to win a fight here, because if they lose this one out, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to get back to the point. And if they do, it's going to be very disconnected, very strung out.
It's going to be difficult to say the least. Saucy needs to connect here. Grab ready, moving in, gets the grab. Where's the follow through? Ezire already down. Not going to be able to be the man who does it. Nano boost on the Diva. Second Wind, everything on the floor here. Duplicate going to fall. Saucy charged up. Second Wind still with options here. It's hard, but with 2 pickoffs and Saucy just melting to the back, they have a chance of taking this fight.
Oh, diving back in, it's Ezire back into the fray. He's died out a couple times here, but every time he comes back in, it's something that they have to worry about. The healing just isn't there for him, though.
No, and Saucy continuing to melt down. 100 energy, Second Wind. Not going to be facing 0% here, though. At least get 1 take. But now, Hurix, this is a very rough road to go when you haven't done anything else over the course of the map.
Playing for control right now. Saucy, once again, with the Graviton. You're able to get things done with Fried last time around, but now we'll see if maybe they want to use Ezire into this one. Go for the punch down.
We'll have to see. Saucy was telegraphing the grab, decided he didn't want to go for it. Instead, throws it, gets the wall. They're down there tanking. Oh, duplicate. Plays air, but meteor strike. Ezire, the equalizer from the other side. Uppercut the duplicate. He's able to keep second win in the fight. Ezire coming in big when second win needs it most.
And that's a combo you can always go to, is just punching right down into the graviton with the meteor strike available. Ezire is going to play into that, and that's going to work out for them. They're going to start working their way back into this one. Second win taking Hollywood initially and trying to just claw their way back up into this matchup.
Ezire just coming on. Oh, he's going for the knockaround. Did he get him? He does!
He got him!
Oh, sure, you can right into the pit. Just sort of combining the streams there. A little bit of Street Fighter with the fatalities of Mortal Kombat. Why not?
Why not indeed? And that's going to be a huge pick. That's a sneaky one. That's going to force now probably maybe one last fight here from phase 2. We're seeing some options coming through for them as Graviton is ready now, but Ezire trying to get in there once again into the back line. He's the guy that's really going to push this a little bit, this aggression forward.
And he, self-destruct from Fried, sets it all up. Makes Ezire's job easy. He hasn't had to do anything here in this fight. Didn't get the early opening he was looking for, but just knocks more aside. Nice short Yukin to the other end. Rising uppercut. I don't think he needed to use the meteor strike. That could get back to haunt him, but now second win. 6% left to go. Might not matter. It's pure delay mode now for phase 2. That's let him back in the game. And nice grab. That might stop it. No, in overtime, but the self-destruct so powerful for second win. They're still likely to get this now.
Oh, Ezire almost caught himself flying off the edge, but nonetheless, Sinker going to get shut down. It's just cleanup here. Second win should be able to take this round as they're finding that last kill onto duplicate. No one else around. Overtime will tick down, and second win with yet another advantage for themselves.
Whew. All right, second wind. It was a little bit of a rough start, but they make the comeback. 0 to 99 ends up being 100 to 99. And they're one round away from putting phase 2 in a hole that Coach Michael might not even be able to dig him out of.
It's going to be so difficult. I mean, going into this matchup, I still thought phase 2 was the team to look out for. It's not the case so far. Again, I mean, things have been pretty close, but Ezire has really stepped up in a big way. And on top of that, Fried and Haku, I think, have really made a big step forward in terms of making sure that the rest of the team is connected as much as their opposition. And I think really they are shining in this moment.
The supports are peaking at the right time, and now we're getting right into it. It's a brawl, but it's one where duplicate falls first, ends up getting out, taken by the other Reinhardt. More support on the second win side, and Akawa, get that nap in. You've earned it.
Absolutely. Now we'll see them getting control early, and that's something that they didn't really have as much benefit of last time around, but this time we'll see them capturing the point out, going for control, and playing into the spacing that they have allotted for themselves.
Akawa about to get an Earthshatter up. Duplicate nowhere close. Got to look for that Ezire-Akawa connection here. 90%, and this is big. Ezire now, are you going to be able to set it up? You're going to start seeing the Brigida position a little bit more aggressively. Sinker being a little bit aggro, getting some energy. Here comes Ezire moving forward. Shield Bash doesn't hit, and Akawa throws the Earthshatter into nothing as a result. Now, still gonna find Wub anyways. It still works out for second win, even if not super well executed, and phase 2 is thrown back.
Ezire's Brig is really showing up as well, man. I mean, he was able to shut down the stuns that were trying to come out from Duplicate and made sure that he was forced to keep his shield up. Remember back to the last time we saw Duplicate on this map alongside Sinker and Wub, they were doing a lot of work together. We saw tons of plays come out from them, replays abound, but not the case so far.
Gonna see the grab come out here from Saucy first, and phase 2 gonna be okay with it. They drop the Transcendence, they have a barrier in reserve. Barrier coming out from defense to begin with. Insomniac can be able to drop his in a moment. Here comes a grab from Sinker. They're looking for anything to make it happen. They lose both Lucio and Diva. Phase 2 can't make the ultimate trade-outs work in their favor. Just better execution from second win. They're gonna punish them, and they're 35% away here, X.
35% away from going up 2-0. The reverse sweep is always possible, but it's so difficult this late in the day. when you have that mental fatigue setting in. I know I have mental fatigue setting in personally, so I can't even imagine these players at this set. But
I'm as sharp as a butter knife right now. I don't know about you, but we're gonna see the Celtics go back the other way. Fried, not gonna get anything from it. We got the down bear from phase 2. Final opportunity. Grab though in. And phase 2 really struggling to get through here. Transcend's gonna keep him in for a while, but Haku had one of his own. Again, ult being traded for ult here. Akawa coming up close to another Earth Shatter. Could be the decider. Needs to stay up. One more swing. Earth Shatter gonna be up. You gonna drop it? Do you have it? Knocks down 2 right as the grab. It's gonna give them some cover. Looks towards the Diva. Only Karkar gonna fall, but Kevin got the D-Mech in it, but it's not going to be enough. Second win, holding on. Lijiang is theirs, and they're 1 map away.
1 map away indeed. Second win, really battling it out and looking phenomenal in doing so. We can see how, these guys have come together so quickly and look so good this fast. I mean, the connection that we're getting out of, in particular, Izire, Saucy, and Akawa, this is that same mirror that I was looking at that I thought phase 2 was going to be able to kind of take an advantage from, but it's second win grabbing the advantage themselves and really, really doing a good job of looking very cohesive, looking very synergistic, a thing that we were really kind of praising phase 2 for, but it's fallen apart a little bit, and we're not seeing that same value happening from Duplicate, where before he was just popping off on the Reinhardt. Now a little bit quiet.
Phase 2, they've looked like a different team. The series second win, meanwhile, has been operating on all cylinders. We've seen a banner game coming out from Izire. Saucy's still been incredibly effective. And, Kawa, who started out day 1 pretty slow, absolutely looking great here today. And, it's unfortunate. I don't think this is peak phase 2, and now they are in reverse sweep territory. Something that has happened plenty of times in Overwatch history, so you never quite know. Reverse sweeps can happen at any time, but certainly right now, if you're second wind, you're feeling pretty good about where you're at.
Absolutely, and you're feeling confident too, because you know that should you even drop this next map, you've got map pick. Should you drop that map, you've got map pick. You have opportunities now. You've set yourself a good position to sit in as we move now into Ilios. This could be a quick 2 and done right on out of the gate. Second win, looking to close this one out. They were able to look pretty solid here on Lijiang Tower. Ilios is a slightly different map in terms of what to expect with these comps, but not too much. Certainly, we will be expecting to see a little bit of McCree perhaps on something like, maybe a little bit of sniper play on Ruins. Could as well see some Pharah. I mean, there are a lot of different things we can expect. However, tanks abound, and a lot of supports to back them up is certainly something that we'll see at some point from either of these teams as well.
Well, the key here is that it has to go back to, as you say, the tank gameplay, particularly with the supports backing them up, because our 2 of the 3 stages here for Ilios, they are very tank and support centric, whether it be Lighthouse, whether it be these are maps that get up close and personal. Yeah, sometimes on Lighthouse you can get away, and it's really all stages with Pharah related shenanigans, but I don't think either team's going to go too much down that rabbit hole. I do think it's going to be a ground game. And, look, you think back to what we praised phase 2 for earlier in the tournament. They were a team that did well with GOAT-style compositions. Their coordination for it was great. But the problem is they're getting outdone at their bread and butter.
Yeah, and not being able to pull that off, I think, is what's really hurting phase 2 here. Second win is going to be their kryptonite if they can outplay them in that department, because again, phase 2 not being able to operate in that capacity is going to set them back a lot, because it's going to deny a lot of the opportunities for them to show a little bit of something more dynamic. Now they're going to be forced into playing other things like trying to play dive or trying to play other looks that are going to be a little bit more colorful than some of the others that we've seen from them, where that vanilla approach is what they look best at. But if if second win can just do it better, that's a big problem. Looking here forward towards this next map, this first one is going to be we already talked about how it could be, of course, a little up close and personal. How about up close and personal? That's going to be a dive, both sides. Izire in the sky, although he might swap because I don't see a Mercy. He's going to come out anyways. Okay, there's Karkar.
Karkar.
Swap. Yeah, he's got the Lucio just to give them that initial speed boost to get towards the point early.
So Izire is actually going to go down the Pharah setup here, but it does put a lot of pressure on Sinker, where Soldier's really good at dealing fire, even better than he was before. And okay, well, takes a rocket. Not going to get too many good angles on fire when you're underneath the ceiling. Fire's not going to be able to shoot you too much, but, you know, one way or another, does need to find a way around as phase 2 just hemmed in right now. The pressure from Izire so good right now. 80% towards the barrage. He's been getting everything he wants and more. Now at 98%. Getting ready. Takes a little bit of glancing fire, but in barrage, it's good to go. It's going to be time to make it rain. Izire waiting and waiting, but now it might be time to go. Dives on in. Barrage! Round 3! Izire makes it big. Take your rest, Soldier. You've earned it.
Has he earned it, though?
No, he's got rest back up. No rest for the weary.
All right, Izire coming back alive, and alive is exactly what he is right now. Excellent play on the Pharah. Great positioning to allow for him to get that free poke in. And that rate of fire change for Izire definitely coming in as he's allowed to just dish out those rockets so fast right now. And obviously playing into the concussive blast with that easy cooldown reduction as well, getting him into the fray a little bit faster.
And now he's just been such a terror where getting damage boosted, the rockets doing even more. Yeah, you got land directs now, but it's not a big issue for him. Soundbear, though, in for the attack. It's phase 2, looking for anything, but off the Soundbear, they don't even force out the primal. Haku got a little bit low, but they're not able to get it. Saucy, though, is punished. Up to Izire. Izire about to get an, 15 HP towards the end, but now he has the barrage. Gets to come back over. Haku's down. Can he actually turn this around? And no, he can't. Blown up. But that's a lot of alt investment coming in from phase 2, and a lot of progress coming in for second win.
And they can still contest this. They can continue to push this a little bit more as the Sombra's going to come in. Will kind of dip right on out, but Karkar even keeping it going for his team, and 63% is what they're going to come away with. And barrage at the ready. We saw the value already where it was dropped onto the Sinker and Moore's head. This time around, I imagine it won't happen that same way. Sinker can kind of stun him off, and Moore has the Transcendence available. But you can see barrage kills happen inside of Transcendence. The DPS is strong if you're up close and personal. It's just a question of, can they get into that position, or do they have to pull out the Transcendence early?
I mean, you have strong prayers, but you're going to need more than that. The barrage just instantly deletes Sinker and Moore, sends him back to spawn. Reaction simply not in time there to deal with it, and second win, picking up where they left off, easily retaking the point. And I gotta say, this puts phase 2 in such a poor situation going forward.
Izire's nuts, man. He really is, and looking incredibly solid right now, especially on the Pharah. I think this is probably the most consistent that we've seen him. He's looked good on the Doomfist, but I think the Pharah is where he's really shined so far, and looking forward, he's going to die the Deadeye now. You've praised him so much that it's high noon.
Is he, though?
Because I think the real issue for him is going to be, of course, the self-destruct, but they don't have it available for Kevin.
Well, the pressure from Izire is certainly something that has not been dealt with. Sinker not even looking at him, and, well, that's not going to stop the rain, let me say that. Soundbearer out, Deadeye from Sinker, and Izire just good position. Not going to fall to the Deadeye. Your casting curse power is actually quite weak at the end as Izire goes forward, drops the barrage one last time. The Rockets on point. Second wind. They don't even need a second wind. The first wind. It's been enough here so far. On the verge of going up around, being one round away, and oh, goodbye, Zen. Goodbye. Into the pit you go. Can't float your way out of that one. One more round to go for second wind, and they stay alive till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow, and it's going to be so tough to fight not only Toronto Esports, and if you make it through that somehow, you're going to hit last night's leftovers. Those are two of the strongest teams you could expect to come through, and they are really showing up as well. Second win, yes, they look good, but that is a matchup to look forward to, where we've already seen, I mean, obviously one of those is going to be a rematch, of course. You know, if second win does wind up taking this, they had already fought last night's leftovers, so that could be a potential setup for our grand final, depending on how things pan out. Again, there's always the possibility of a complete turnaround, a pivot to happen right here, phase 2, with the possibility of a complete reverse sweep. I mean, if they're able to win off of this, that would be the most reverse of sweeps that you could possibly imagine.
Yes. This is very reverse. I mean, this is going back in time to meet Dino before he was extinct, essentially. Not that he's extinct right now, but we'll see what Wub could do here in the Widow. It doesn't have great angles here so far. I mean, shooting Diva in the backside, okay. You need something more than that. You need, while your team is getting dove on, but Saucy's have it early. Now, well, with a little bit more of an option here, hoping that Lucio turns and peeks, and okay. Doesn't even need much from the Widow. Phase 2 just wins on the ground, almost 5v6.
I like that they're being aggressive, especially with this Lucio as well, because what they can do is they can force a rotation from Wub early and then jump on top of him. If they have that allowance, if they have the space to do that, they're going to do that time and time again.
Nice purple coming out from phase 2. More drops the Bionade on the back. No healing there. And you see just what that does the second win. They end up scattering. Everyone's super low. And Kevin with the cleanup, although Saucy making a little bit spicy. A little bit of another change of words there, but nope, going to end up falling. And it's phase 2 in a much better state so far.
Absolutely. They look in control right now. And going forward from this, we're going to be seeing Sinker with the EMP available. And due to all of that pressure that's going to come out from phase 2 and having to deal with that and having to react to that, Wub is going to have the allowance to just do whatever he wants in the backline here on the Widow, have the benefit of the infra sight on top of everything. So easy pickings for the Widow if he can have these sight lines opened up.
Well, you know what's embarrassing is Widow dying to another Widow with infra sight up. But again, this fight is kind of passing Wub by, and Wub goes, wait, you guys are playing without me. Yeah, they are. Izar's down in the rest of phase 2. I mean, it's working, but it is weird to take fights in a situation where your Widow can't even get shots, but it's working.
Phase 2 have to continue being flawless if they want to stay in this matchup. Remember, this is 2-0 already in favor of second win, so they can't even drop a single round of this particular map and then have to continue being impeccable throughout the rest of this series. A lot to ask for from a team, but it starts here. Jumping onto Saucy, the Widowmaker here, putting the pressure down.
Saucy in trouble, is able to get away. Now you gotta look towards Izar. Dragon Blade ready. Gonna have to thread a needle here. Akawa down, so now it's really up to Izar's team. Dying all around them, a blade, a whim, a hope. No hope, just absolutely dominated from the blade and almost falling into the pit. That was the least epic Dragon Blade of all time. A little bit tinnitus to roll it all out. And we're going to be heading to a round number 3 here. And hey, if phase 2 is going to do the most epic reverse sweep, it starts here.
Absolutely. And this is what you actually want, is a quiet finish to a map where you are just in control pretty much throughout. That's what we've seen so far. Overtime ticking at the moment as phase 2 looking to close it out. They still have a couple of bodies to go ahead and drop before they do, and that will do it. But again, this is the way you want these maps to go. You want to be in control. You want it to be pretty tame, pretty quiet. And if they can do that, they can maintain that stability for their own side and really cause a lot of chaos as they are right now. They have a shot at getting this reverse sweep, this ultimate reverse sweep. But again, it's so much to ask for.
Well, the other problem too is that they're gonna have to deal with the setup that they had a lot of trouble dealing with on Well. Now, Lighthouse, it's a little bit more wide open. You have more opportunities, but Izar, also that same note, has a bigger coastline to knock people away from early. So, and right now, they're not even running with anything to do so far. They're just gonna be focused on the ground game.
I mean, this might come down to a race as well with DPS, where Duplicate and Wub are going to dive into the back line with Kevin, or maybe just dive onto just the cluster and see if they can find an early pick with the Doomfist setting things up. But if they can do that, then Izar just won't have any time to do anything.
Izar for now, trying to pick up where he left off. Rocket right to the meaty part of him in there. And again, getting boosted all the while, 35% charge. Akawa, take a bit of damage, but holding back. Again, second win, just trying to buy time for Izar to do his work. More under pressure. Akawa, though, not a good spot to go. No, Izar doesn't need help. Takes down more, all on his lonesome. Second win, looking to get early, first control of the point. They're going to get it. And so far, Izar, uncontested in the air.
This is a big benefit for them. Second win, looking to try to take this down. This is another opportunity, and on the back of Izar's performance on Well, on this particular character, on this Pharah, they could get it done here if he's anywhere close to similar in stature with what he was able to do and how he was able to perform before.
You have Sinker, though, the swap to the Widow. Izar, I don't even know if you realize that he's exposing his head right now. Needs to be careful, but EMP, diving from second win. The fight, again, passing the Widowmaker by. This time, Sinker on it, off in the middle of nowhere, while his team just getting obliterated. Gets a pick off, but Rez is going to be there. It won't matter.
That's another thing about bringing the Pharah into play is that you have the benefit of the res reset so that you don't lose time and you can start building charge on some of these other ultimates should someone go down. You don't have that same downtime.
I gotta say, by the way, shout out to AKM, who's on a delay, but mentioning AKM blade for the last Izar blade. You gotta be able to poke fun at yourself. Izar, though, goes in, barrage, gets more, finds Sinker. It's a double for Izar. No answer to this Pharah for this extra round, and this is something you gotta deal with. You gotta deal with the Pharah. You can't ignore it.
They're going to have to do something quickly. Sinker is going to be the one to make the adjustment. He's going to go over to the McCree. He's been quite good on the McCree before, but Izire knows how to shut down those sight lines. This time, not going to happen. Izire alone gets taken down by Sinker.
Rez isn't up either. That Pharah is going back for real. A final opportunity here for phase 2. Down to what could be their final fight. Wub drops the base right on top of Haku. And this is the fight that phase 2 is needed here. If they have any hope of bringing this back, they start putting bodies on the point. They get the Devo D-Mech. They should be able to flip it, but man, do they have a long road to travel.
Wonder if Izire is going to make a swap here, knowing that he's going into Sinker directly. You have to wonder if that's going to be the case or if they wind up sticking with it. He is indeed going to make a swap, and at the moment it is into a Tracer. That's going to force Sinker off of the McCree because he just doesn't want to have that duel. That can be something that, you know, if Izire is at all slippery, he can lose that one out and really open up his backline to a lot of trouble from the Tracer.
Tracer, rare appearance coming in here, but no Brigitte in sight, so it's something that can be made workable. Still have to respect the hack, and that's going to be something that Izire will be looking at. Izire versus Sinker on the right-hand side. Sinker in trouble, almost falls. Izire was real close to getting that. Akan, meanwhile, has to burn Primal, almost gets burned down. Second wind, just trying to grab space here. Duplicate under fire, gets healed back up. Still under fire, gets taken down. Focus fire from second wind. Great. Remember, they take this fight. That's going to be it. They're going to eliminate phase 2 as Saucy finds a way, deals with the Doom Fist. Phase 2 in real trouble here. They need to get back over. They need to get presence back on the point. See if they can do just that. Sinker in trouble, almost falls, has to translocate out, and this is getting intense.
Absolutely. Moore getting close to that nano boost. He's in a good spot, allowed to enable duplicate, but he goes right off the side, so does the nano boost to follow.
Clutch boot from Karkar, sending him to swim. His name isn't both boat, but maybe it should be. Second win. In a great spot here. We have Club going in, Meteor Strike, looking for any sanity. Second win has recaptured the point. They're on the verge of eliminating phase 2. Michael on the verge of going home here. Overtime ticking down. What delay do you have left? Duplicate down, Insomniac out. Sinker out of the battle. Overtime, it's done. Second win. You live till tomorrow to go to that lower bracket final.
Man, do I feel like an idiot as well. Phase 2, I thought was going to be so strong in this matchup. I thought we were going to see a lot more of the Reinhardt enabling, but that's not what we saw. We saw, you know, a lot of dive come out. We saw really a lot of shining on the other side. Akawa was enabled a little bit more. The efficiency that we saw, the connection that we saw, and of course, Izire really stepping things up since day one, where he was kind of just floating around in the middle of the pack, and now has really stepped things up in a big way.
No doubt about it, and that means that we have our final 3 teams set up for tomorrow. We'll see, of course, starting the day with wondering who's going to be fighting LNL. But in case you're just tuning in wondering, how is this 3-0? We do got some replays, and man, oh man, phase 2, who looked so good throughout so much of the tournament, just getting outplayed here for the most part, but Duplicate still had a few moments.
Absolutely. I mean, really good play throughout the day. We had so many good teams, actually, that we got to witness. And yeah, a few of them had to bow out. You know, we started the day off bye week, took a plunge. NRG didn't have their best day, but I mean, throughout the day, we really did get the opportunity to see a lot of good, solid teams work their way through the lower side of the bracket mostly. And then a great upper final, really, I think, was probably my highlight. LNL versus TO. That was such a good match.
LNL v TO, of course, upper bracket finals. There's a lot of hype behind them because, of course, those are the teams that are undefeated. And look, man, you go the distance. You go not only to the 5th map. The 5th map is Control. You go to the 3rd and final round. What more can you ask for? But guys, here's a bracket here today, and you can also see our cool sponsors on the bottom. Please support all of them. We've sold out a lot here tonight, but you can see the list. They're awesome. Drink some Soylent. all up to you. But guys, you can see the path going forward tomorrow. L&L. Of course, they got through Toronto Esports to be in our grand final setup for the upper bracket. What was the upper bracket? Let's take a look at the lower bracket, how all that went today. Lower bracket, you see the trail of bodies of teams hitting the floor. And in the very end, second win, standing strong, blowing hard. And now they get to move up against Toronto Esports, where they hope the winds will still be blowing in their favor. But as good as they've been, it's going to be a tough ask. But you never know. We've seen lower bracket runs before.
We've seen them before, but this is just so much. I mean, Toronto Esports and last night's leftovers are just looking so good right now. I think whoever winds up taking that first matchup is going in for a very, very long day against last night's leftovers as the final boss of the tournament.
No doubt about it. Tomorrow will be a shorter day, perhaps, but our grand finals, best of 7, you never know what will happen. Guys, you won't want to miss it. It's going to be great Overwatch once more. Thank you so much for supporting us here tonight. And guys, we will see you tomorrow as we wrap the shindig up. I'm ZP. That's Erix. We'll see you next time.